Hey, so first off, happy full moon in Aries, magical beings. I hope this full moon, post Mercury retrograde, is treating you well. Full moons are all about celebrating fruition, what you've accomplished, and it's that beginning time where you begin to shed any unwanted energies or things that just didn't serve you, over the past month. And the universe being what it is, it's brought several things kind of to my attention that's related to releasing. So I wanted to come on today and talk about cord cutting. The basics of cord cutting are you get two items that represent yourself and another person, or two particular people. You tie a cord around both, and then you ritually sever that cord, which also energetically severs that cord as well. Um, Basically, you're just releasing that person back out into the wild. But energy behaves and shapes itself in very funky ways sometimes. And what brought this up for me is I'm in a couple of witchcraft groups, obviously, and I saw a post from someone else who was asking about how to cut a cord. And content warning, it was with an abusive person. They didn't really go into details of the abuse, but you could tell there was a lot of heavy energy there. And so part of that is they still have love letters from the ex that they wanted to burn, but they felt like this huge hesitation in doing and going through with that part. And so the advice given on the thread was really good advice. They're telling this person to be brave on how to do the cord cutting and burning the letters, to take the ashes and, take them away from your home along with any of the other spell ingredients. And, I agree with most of the advice. I'm playing with a fidget thing. I agree with most of the advice, but we've got to examine the situation just a little bit closer. So, first off, is the letter burning part is what stuck out to me. If your gut is telling you that something is a bad idea, there's no reason to force yourself to do something you're not ready for. This is really important with releasing spells and protection spells and anything that feels really heavy, especially if trauma is involved and things like that. If you were to just go through with it, you're not really going to release as effectively as you want. And you may feel that you wasted the burning of the letters in that fashion if you weren't ready. The next thing is I could sense from the post that the cord between these two was very tense. They put a lot of tension on this cord, incredibly stretched. And in real life, if you put a lot of tension on a rope and then you cut it, it's going to snap back and forth to both ends. In this case, it would be both people. So just something to keep in mind if you're going to release something is examine the cord very carefully. And if there's a lot of tension there, figure out ways to reduce that tension before you're going to cut it. That kind of backlash on an energetic level not only hurts you, the other person, but it can take a long time to recover from. It does not feel good. Speaking from a little bit of experience. The next part is energy shapes. This is my own experience and senses from this post, but I got the sense that this energy, this stuck tangle of energy, was shaped more like a barbed hook. And you shouldn't just rip that out of someone, either yourself or someone else you might be working with. And kind of like surgery or prying kind of a hook from, a fish, you got to carefully maneuver it and untangle it out of a person. If it's that heavy, if it's that immovable, it's gonna hurt coming out. And I don't want you hurt. I don't want anyone who's going to do magic for themselves hurt. The other person may deserve it, and that's fine. It's you that I care about right now. And so even once you get this barb out, you've got to treat it like a wound, You got to carefully heal it. You've got to protect it. It's going to need to be bandaged. You've got to watch for infection. I know that sounds silly, but energetic infection can affect your actions, your moods, things like that. It can be kind of nasty. But since cord cutting is super popular over on TikTok and several other internet spaces, when I came across this post, I really thought I should share with you all exactly how I would approach this situation. And so, first off, I would examine the tangle of energy in the energetic body, whether yourself or someone else. Where is it located? Is it located near the throat chakra? Is this suppressing your voice? Is it hard to speak your truth around this thing? Is this located in the solar plexus? Are you having self-confident issues? Are you having trouble feeling strong in yourself? Is it sometimes near the root chakra, which is related to survival and feeling safe and secure? Wherever this tangle is probably affecting your energetic body in different ways. It can be the same tangle, but where it's located can can dictate how it will express itself in the world. And again, examine the cord between the things. Is there tension there? How can we reduce the tension? Ways of reducing that tension would be creating space between yourself and this person. Reducing the tension can look like getting rid of gifts and things that you really just don't want to keep around anymore. But how do you lessen their impact in your real world life in order to start creating distance, creating less tension in order to cut that? Just really think about any actions going forward that can lessen this bond. If you can reduce the tension on the cord, maybe the barb gets smaller as you process through those things. And then when you're fully committed, then do the release. And some people will do it the opposite. They'll ritually cut the cord for the release and think that's the starting off point, and that helps them get through it better. And that's perfectly fine too. I just know from my personal experience and the experience of others around me that if you're not ready, don't do it. You can always do it later. You can always do this in steps. You don't have to fully cut, commit, and then go on. If you do that, you could be limping, bleeding in your energetic field, and it takes a while to heal. You can always soak the bandage off. You can, take this in stages. Something that heavy needs to be broken down. You can't just pick up a giant boulder and move it all the time. You have to break it down sometimes and remove those bit by bit. And that's kind of what shadow work and things like that touch on, is how to break this down into manageable pieces, process, and move through. But the Aries full moon has a lot of people thinking about the self-identity. The Aries zodiac is very much about being a leader, knowing themselves, knowing what they want. And so if you've got some conflict going on, releases like the cord cutting and other ritual releases can really kind of help you narrow down your Aries self, your Aries kind of self. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope this finds you well, and happy full moon.